Insurgent by Veronica Roth. If you've managed to miss Divergent by Veronica Roth, the book to which this is a sequel, I definitely recommend you quickly click on this video here and go watch my review of it, purchase yourself a copy and enjoy. Otherwise, flee from this video, unless you fear not the spoiler-toothed beast. So Insurgent picks up where Divergent left off. Triss and Four and all the rest of them fleeing from the city they've just saved, leaving behind them a strew of scattered Dauntless stumbling out of simulations, as well as the corpses of many abnegation dead, including Triss's parents. The war Triss has come to find herself part of rages on, but Triss doesn't want to be part of it anymore. How can she, when every time she picks up a gun, all she can see is Will falling before her bullet? But it looks like she's going to have to be. The other factions don't want to get involved, and the erudite have for too long suppressed a secret that demands to be told. I'm afraid to say that for me, Insurgent definitely suffers from second book syndrome. Divergent was so good, so exciting, so gripping and so polished. This... When I ask myself, is Insurgent as good? I have to say no. Everything in it's a bit all over the place, a bit implausible, and a bit disappointing, really. The aimless journeying of Triss and Four from faction to faction kind of reminded me of the trio in Deathly Hallows camping, only perhaps without even an idea to locating Horcruxes. The plot in this book was kind of lacking. There were no really strong ideas as to what they were going to do to fulfill their purposes. For a lot of the book, they just seem to meander around. One event follows the next without it really having a strong tie to the plot. Another thing I disliked, which perhaps underpins my idea of it being kind of lacking in plot, was the unknown secret everyone seemed to be attacking each other for. Towards the end of this book, Triss makes a huge decision, a decision that will easily change her life as she knows it, all based on the idea that this secret is probably important. Maybe. It just seems a bit contrived that she'd do this all on assurances. In the last few pages of the book, the secret is finally revealed, and it's disappointing. It just didn't seem worth hanging on for 500 pages for. It simply seemed like the easiest device Roth could reach for that would allow the conflict to continue and all her characters to come together for the big battle scene at the end. Also, the brutality in this book. Now, the brutality was something I actually praised Roth for in Divergent. I thought it was brilliant that she wasn't afraid to kill off important characters. However, in this book, I think she just takes it too far. She seems to introduce characters only to kill them in front of you 100 pages later. Again, I probably would have had no problem with the brutality had it been enclosed in a solid plot like it was in Divergent. However, in this, it just didn't work. I couldn't understand why the factions would continue to not openly oppose Erudite when they were obviously committing such atrocities, and why certain people, when seeing them commit these atrocities, would choose to side with them. Maybe I'm being too hard on Insurgent because Divergent was so good, but all I can say is it definitely lacked the former book's charm. I guess I didn't really feel like much happened in it. And maybe it's just trying to be a transition book between Divergent and whatever's coming next. However, as a book on its own, it doesn't really work. Despite all the shootouts and simulations taking over people's minds, it's kind of dull. I still think it's readable, I still think it's okay, and if you've read and enjoyed Divergent, I would recommend you read this too. But I'm still really hoping the next one is a lot closer to how Divergent was. So, what did you think? Have you read Divergent? Are you going to read Insurgent? Tell me down below. I'm starting to wonder if the ultimate flaw of dystopian fiction and of some sci-fi fiction is that they can't last. That beyond the initial brilliant concept, they're ultimately unsustainable. That they can either give us a glimpse into another world quickly and then shut it again, like with 1984 and Brave New World, and then leave these worlds unaffected in their own ways. Or they must collapse and become like our world, because they're books crafted for us. I personally really liked Mockingjay, but I know it was a book that divided a lot of Hunger Games fans. To me though, it was really the inevitable conclusion of the problems Collins had presented. Part of me is wondering if Insurgent isn't the start of that for Veronica Roth. That Insurgent is starting to bring to a close the faction system she's written about. And in doing so, in making it more like our world, it's becoming less interesting to read. Anyway, I'd really love to hear what you guys think of Insurgent and what you think more generally on that question of dystopias. Leave me some comments down below and we can chat about it. Otherwise, I will see you later in the week. Bye.